Good. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pearls of Wisdom. As you can see, now I have a new camera, and now you see me more sharp and see like more the wrinkles here. So we have a Pearl of Wisdom session today, and we are talking about love. So I got very interesting questions today. Okay, Suchada and Navasit, go ahead.
We have a question. The topic would be like selfish versus self-love, like love or love yourself. I find it that people always understand that love ourselves is selfish. They interpret that if we do, through some action to present that we love ourselves, it means that we are selfish because we only think about ourselves or
Yes.
what we need or what we desire. And
Yes.
in the society, everybody calls that selfish.
Yes, you're right.
So I find it's really difficult to discriminate, not discriminate, but to separate what is the true self-love or love ourselves versus like selfish. For example, we went on to have dinner with our friends, and we will have like a long discussion, and the discussion is not finished yet. And then my friends start noticing that, oof, are they closing the restaurant now? But the conversation is not finished. So from my perspective, I interpret that I still have the right to stay, because I kind of But then my friend said, no, we should leave because they are closing. You see, the waiter is waiting for us to leave. And then he get up and he left. It's okay, something like that. Yeah. And so my question is, can you explain like what is
the difference?
Yeah, the difference.
This is a very complex topic because you are talking about many different things. Self-love, selfish, and egoism. This is not really the same. So let me start here first. If you cannot love yourself, you will not be able to love anybody else. And we're talking about the real love, the empathic love that in Greek terminology would be agape. Agape is that empathetic love where you accept without condition what is, which is not a love that is connected with emotions. That is a very deep feeling of peace. So this is the highest form of love. And this is the love that you need for yourself to understand that, first of all, you're here as a divine being having a human experience, right? And you are not being judged on higher levels because when you, for example, sign up for an experience, for an experiment, the possibility that you don't succeed is there. And even if you go for an experiment and you don't succeed, that does not mean that you're a bad person. So generally, you still can love yourself even if you do not succeed with what you're doing. Then you just go ahead and you try again. And this is generally what our life is about, that we have to learn things here, learn to live a human life, and then develop the empathy to understand others, to understand life in itself. But we can do that only, remember, if we love ourselves, because everything out of us is a reflection, is a mirror. So how can you receive love or give love to anybody if you do not love yourself? So once you have within you the empathy and the compassion, that which is the highest form of love, then we have, I just mentioned this here now, and I come back to your sample afterwards, then we have eros. Eros, erotic. This is the sexual erotic love. And we have philia. This is the friendship love, the intimate, authentic friendship. This is when you have a very intimate girlfriend as a girl, you know, the one that you share all the information and all your life, or as a boy, you have another boyfriend. And I'm not talking sexual, I'm just talking this true friendship. Like, you know, kids who grow up together, who bond, that very deep friendship that they can, any secret they have, they can share to each other. That is the deepest friendship, which is very, very important, and not many people have that anymore. Then we have another few ways that we maybe not mentioned here. Actually, we did talk about that in a previous video at one time. So again, afterwards, when you talk about that restaurant, that has absolutely nothing to do with you of being loving or whatever. It has, first of all, it has something to do that in this restaurant, they don't set boundaries. For example, it is very clear in other places, the restaurant closes at, say, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, whatever, and then, you know, we have to go. Like in Europe, it's usually, we had like 11 or 12 o'clock is official closing. After 12 o'clock, you cannot order anything anymore, but you're still going to have half an hour to finish your drink or whatever it is. So generally, a half an hour before closing time, they don't give you any food anymore. So in Thailand, we have a very big problem with boundaries in general with this Chiang Rai. This is very difficult to explain to people who don't understand it, but this is kind of, it goes a little bit in the people-pleasing category. And this is actually not coming from a high consciousness, this is coming from a low consciousness. And so if you stay in that restaurant, even if people are sitting there and waiting to close the restaurant, if they don't tell you, you don't have to go, really. So, I mean, I guess it wasn't midnight, it was maybe 9 or 10 o'clock. Restaurants here don't open, don't close that early. So if they want to close, somebody would have to come and say, look, I'm sorry to inform you, we're going to close in half an hour. Then you have time to finish your drink, your food, whatever, and have another half an hour. And you can decide to go to another place to finish your discussion, or you finish it and you just go home. So first of all, this has absolutely nothing to do with love. And it has absolutely nothing even to do with selfishness. Once somebody has a restaurant or has a shop or whatever it is, and they don't have clear limits and guidelines, it's their own fault if they don't set those boundaries.
So, relating to the boundaries that you just mentioned, my interpretation would be that for the act of selfishness, when we invade other people boundaries,
Yes,
to gain something that we need, that's called selfish. Is that right?
Yes, this would be selfish. But again, if the other person does not set the boundaries again and let you take advantage of it, it's not just your fault, it's that person's fault too.
So, so when we set boundaries, is one way to react on our self-love. Is that right?
It is to manifest in a way, your boundaries, you know, like you need to breathe. If people come too close sometime and bombard you too much with too much, it's like you cannot breathe anymore, right? So everybody needs some boundaries, and you have to be clear about that. If you don't tell people, how can they know? Maybe, for example, you have been in a very difficult day and you had a lot of work already, and you come home, and then somebody approaches you with a problem and just bang, 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 bombard you that. And this is like, I just cannot take it anymore. I had a rough day and I need a break. And this is setting boundaries. And this is what you have to tell then this, whoever it is, family, friend, whatever. I said, look, I need a break now. I need a half an hour or whatever. Like, for example, on our workshop on the Sunday when we had lunch, and generally the whole day, I was constantly bombarded with questions. I did not really have an opportunity to teach the workshop as I wanted to do it because I was constantly interrupted. So I was thinking a moment, what should I do? And because the workshop were only very few people, I thought, okay, let's have them ask the questions because they really need to know. Because if I teach the workshop the way I do, I maybe come in, they ask question here. And I come here on that level, they not understand what I'm talking about. So I kind of gave in. But I realized at lunchtime, when even during the food, they did not stop bombarding me with questions, that next time I'm gonna eat again somewhere else. But it was a good experience after a long time not teaching workshops. I didn't really think much. So this is like, from me, I did not set boundaries. And if I let other people take advantage of this, it was selfish from them because they wanted to have a lot of information in a way, but they needed it. So you always have to be careful, where do you set the boundary, and what is because it was not done under, say, in a mean way, you know, it just was their curiosity. And finally I have somebody who can answer my question, so I ask, you know. And this is something that happen often in workshops.
But I think it's very thin line for
Yes,
the appropriate boundary between like two people or in circumstances, right? You said like they want to know, and now there's a person who can answer, so they keep like asking, and it's kind of, you know, they means good. They never mean harm.
No, exactly.
How can we set appropriate boundaries?
Well, still, that say, for example, that workshop would have gone on another day. I definitely would have made a stop that I said, okay, now I need a break. It is very often in workshops that people, the moment I say we're gonna make a break, people come with questions. And I had also to tell one lady, please ask the question afterwards when we are back in the workshop. So I think she got it and she stopped asking questions. So I have to be, especially in bigger groups, I have to be very clear about that. And I usually also announce it. I usually tell people that now we're gonna work, and I give you information, and keep writing down your questions. And because during what I'm teaching, I will answer already a lot of your questions. Then you can poke them off and just ask those that you have not get an answer yet. And that works better, but you have to be clear. And in any case, it's my mistake because I did not make my boundaries clear.
Okay. So I have a question for my experience in the workplace.
Yes.
Normally, I am kind of a slow person. So,
yes.
But my boss is kind of a active person. So sometimes when he assigned the job for me to do one thing, I always deliver slowly.
Yeah.
He expect me to deliver fastly faster and more quality. So how can I set my boundaries, or is that affect the self-love something?
You know, this is a problem that happen often because the bosses always want to have things faster and even faster. So you just have to say, look, we work together. I deliver as fast as I can, but what I deliver is 100% right. Because I see very often that people deliver fast, they make mistakes. And then that's the other side of it, you know, and a lot of people make mistakes and then things don't work out the way they should. and if you are clear about it, and I mean the boss, when he or she hired you, had also an idea about your work mode. So just be clear, that's how I work. And especially do not be angry at yourself, because it's just the way some people work fast, some people work slow. And you can see that very often, as I said, people who work fast, they make generally more mistakes.
Yeah.
If you work slower, you look at all the details and your work is more thorough, clear, and there are no mistakes.
Yes, but for me, I try to work harder, and then yeah, I put the spend time on that very much, and sometimes it's kind of I pressure on myself.
Yes.
So it means that I didn't.
That's self-love.
No, this is not, because again, you should not pressure yourself. You should do what you can do. You just go ahead in your way and you deliver what you can. And if this is maybe the job that is not the right one for you because they want more from you or something different, then it's time to look for a different job. Very simple. You have to accept yourself with your way of working. You cannot have another person trying to change you, because it's not possible. The way you are is right, is exactly right. If you work slower, it has a certain meaning that you need to work slower to do things more clear, more precise, more thorough, whatever it is. But don't put pressure on yourself. This is not going to bring you, and this is not going to bring anything to your boss, because at the end, it gives struggle, it gives anger.
Yeah, but I have some brainwash that the belief that I have to improve myself
to be faster,
to be faster and to be the better man. And then if I don't do it, it means that I don't pass the final exam of my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but that's exactly the wrong approach. You said brainwash. That was, you said you have a brainwash. That's exactly what it is. It's brainwash. We are here to accept ourselves how we are. Of course, we want to better ourselves. Of course, we want to learn. We move on and we learn more. And of course, for example, if you are into sports and you start training, you will be faster at one point. And that's the same with the work. In the beginning, when you do something, you might have a longer time to finish it till it becomes more routine and you know more easy how to do it. But that has nothing to do with you personally, about your speed, the way how you perform. It has something to do with having more routine or less routine. Again, that has nothing to do with love.
Okay.
So when you see that this works, you know, some, like if you have, for example, some work, like you have, if you work in a laboratorium and you have certain bacteria and stuff you have to check, you cannot speed it up, because these bacteria, they need a certain time to do a certain things that you can observe it. So there's no way you can speed up something. But for example, if you need to, say, for example, you're a taxi driver, and you need to bring people from A to B. Once you know the city better, you can use shortcuts that you can bring people faster to another place. It's about cleverness, but some work you cannot speed up. Or if you have to read some papers that you need to see details, like for example, as a lawyer or so, you cannot afford to miss a detail that gives you wrong conclusion, and then you're in trouble. So don't judge about speed, judge about quality of the work.
Okay.
And that has something to do with self-respect. Honor the way you work, respect your way to work. And if the boss does not respect you, again, then might be not the right boss for you. I mean,
So
you have to maybe talk to him and say, look, this is how I work, because I need to see all the details very clearly. Otherwise, I make mistake. And you don't want me to make mistake, because fast people make mistake. They have to start at the scratch again. And then when you have double time in the end, it's slower than one person who works slower but thorough.
Okay.
So in relating to his circumstances, I know that he has like a deadline, and maybe in that deadline he has like maybe five jobs to finish. But then to react to the self-love, then he must realize his own ability or capacity. Like maybe he can only finish 3 jobs in 4 days.
Yes.
And then to respond to his self-love, he should communicate these boundaries.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. And again, when you have whatever clients you have, just estimate how much time you need for this and offer it that way, and be clear that this is what you do. But whatever work you do well. So it is about, see, that is really about love yourself. And loving yourself is the first step into peace with yourself. It's also satisfaction that you start to enjoy to do the work. The moment you are under pressure, you cannot enjoy the work. And that is again a moment when you start to make mistakes.
I see.
And I think this is really the most important thing. We have to understand that I am a divine being having a human experience, and I need to love that divine being who has that human experience, because that divine being within me is not human and comes into a very heavy frequency and dimension that the divine is not really used to. So the divine generally is fast, but the human being not. The human avatar is not that fast, right? So we have to understand that when we come into such a density of 3-dimension material expression, that things take time, and don't be rough on yourself. If I plant the seed, I have to wait till the flower is there, maybe a month, maybe 2 months. I cannot push it. Even if I give them good soil and good fertilizer, whatever, it still needs a certain time to sprout and to grow. And that is with everything. Everything needs its proper time. But most people don't know that and don't give themselves enough time, and even don't understand what they need.
So I have something came up. So when to respond to our self-love, it means we have to clear cut about our boundaries. But when we do declare our boundaries, sometimes why people interpret it as being selfish.
Yeah, of course. Of course, but that's none of your business. In fact, see, that's the other thing. Most people live like this, that they worry about what other people think about them. But just go always to that point. The moment you die, the moment you leave this body and you go back home. And I'm not saying here death is something bad. I said that death is in a way the ultimate goal of our life is when we die. It's like the ultimate goal when you go into a university is to leave the university and graduate. And the same is in this lifetime. So once we go there and we look back on our life, and believe me, there's nobody to judge you. It's just you who judge yourself. But all those people, what they think about you, they are absolutely not important in that moment. It is just important what you have achieved, how you have lived your life. So one thing is to stop worry what other people think about you. And when this is your boundary that I need a break now, I don't care if other people are disappointed, whatever. It's the same thing. Look, if there is a storm and you're in a ship and one guy drops and is drowning, it doesn't help if you jump out in the water, you're gonna drown both. But you have to think about it to throw a ring or something, whatever out there, or slow down the ship or whatever, another action. But it's no use that you jump in the water too. And that's exactly the same. The other people's problem, you cannot solve another person's problem. You can help them to see like a different perspective that will help maybe to understand better what's going on. And this is why because we need a mirror in the outside world to help us to understand. I will never ever in my life see my own eyes, but I see my own eyes and myself in the eyes of others. So, for example, I do have a problem and I have this very good friend, and I go and say, look, I need to talk this over. And if a real friend also, the real friend tells you also the negative things. The real friend tells you, for example, you have bad breath and does not just walk away, and then you can do something about it. But all these fake friends, you will see that they will all walk away on you once you have a problem. They will not help you.
Okay.
So this is why if you set boundaries right in the beginning, okay, there might people leave your life, but you know what? That's okay. Let them go, because it's not worth to waste your time on people who do not respect your boundaries.
So we will have fewer friends.
Absolutely, but you have maybe real friends.
Yeah,
all these people having a lot of friends and colleagues and blah, blah, blah. You can always see the moment they're in trouble, there is nobody left. But if you have one or two good friends, you are blessed. I mean, really, this what I said about philia, the word of the intimate, authentic friendship. This is the person you can share the deepest secret. They will not laugh at you. They will not judge you. So all the question about selfish love and all that stuff, this is all in a way completely superficial, because people today don't understand anymore the difference. Even what is love? Look, love has become a 4-letter word. I love ice cream. Oh, I love this food. It's fantastic. Oh, I had an absolute lovely time. Oh, I love you. This is so silly when you look at it. These words have no meaning anymore.
Yeah, I just come up with one question. Sometimes I have true friendship, but he kind of have a judgment on his perspective. But maybe he has like a when he see me, he kind of have a the negative
fix mindset.
Yeah, negative perspective, but maybe it's a true, because he's like a mirror for me. You know what I mean?
Look at it. Generally, if somebody says something to you out of worry that you don't succeed, or like they really want to help you.
Yeah.
Then this is not mean or something like that, but then look at it. And then look at it, okay, is this really a problem for me? Is this where I fail somehow, or something that I can do better? And we have always, it's important that people also have the right to criticize us.
Yeah. So I understand. For example, he always say that I am not a leader. I'm not a good leader. I'm a good follower.
No, you're not. Yeah. No, you're not. That's true. That's not in your personality, and that's fine. I mean, not everybody can be a leader. That's stupid, you know. Everybody come here for an experience,
Yeah.
and even it doesn't matter if you are a leader or not. That's not better or worse. It's just a different job you have.
โอเค
You don't need to be a leader. But I mean, you need to be authentic to your own skills.
and improve my own skill,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
And you know, when we have also looking in astrology, if your sun progression, for example, say your sun progression go to Cancer. Cancer is definitely not a sign of leader, but then maybe your sun progression goes like when you're 45 or whatever age, moves into Leo. Wow, now is an opportunity that you become a leader.
Yeah. Okay.
But then you see that the energy around you is changing too, and opportunities are changing, then you can give it a try.
Okay.
So
Just
see,
let-
that's the beauty in astrology. For example, you're born, your sun is, for example, or Mercury is, for example, in Gemini. You are the communicator, then it goes into Cancer. So you have to deepen your emotions, your feeling to understand what's going on. Then the progression goes into Leo next time. And this is time where you start to take on responsibility and the higher position of leading the others. And this has nothing to do that you have to be a world leader or whatever, but maybe you have a group now to lead because from your experience, you can give something. But again, we are not talking about love here.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. These are very mundane daily life questions that we need to have answered, because you know, you cannot be spiritual just an hour. Say, for example, you go to the temple or to a meditation or to the church or whatever on Sunday for 1 hour. You put on special clothes and whatever, special smile and whatever, and then you go and you pray and you blah blah, and then you go out and take off those clothes and the shoes and you be yourself again. Okay, that was that hour in church or temple. This is not how it works, but this is how many people do it. So you have to understand that your whole life, everything what you do is make it consciously spiritual.
Wow.
And to make your life spiritual is also to serve self, and self with capital. And you know, the higher self, the divine, is connected with all that is. So in a way, also everything you do for yourself, you do for others too. We can even go a step further, you know, the hologram, right? And each of us are part of the hologram, or you are a microcosmos in the macrocosmos. What you do, what you change, will change the whole. So once you understand that this is your role that you play in this macrocosmos in the moment, and if you play this role good, to perfection, as good as you can, you help to perfect the whole. It does not mean that you can only be important or successful if you have a whatever leader role or whatever. In the contrary, if people in their little bubble, more or less, of that macrocosmos, their own microcosmos, if this is clean and proper and loving, then that will expand in the whole macrocosmos. You know, war actually starts already at home. If you have in the family fights all the time, it is no miracle that the country fight and the whole world is fighting. If you cannot hold peace within and for yourself, then who will make peace? Who will hold peace if people are struggling all the time? And this is why what is happening in the moment with this energy shift, and we are shifting in a complete paradigm. This is why all these negative patterns have to go. And this is why what I also said, when we are moving towards enlightenment, that means towards the light. This is a destruction program, actually. We have to let go of all that, what is artificial, what is brainwashed, what is programmed, what does not really serve us. And there we find love, you know. But to get there, you have to love yourself, respect yourself, set your boundaries, that you can become that radiant peace, like not struggling all the time, because when you radiate peace, your environment will be peaceful. When you struggle, then these energies are erratic going out, then your environment will receive all these erratic energies and will not be peaceful. So I think the most important message about this question is that you as a unity on this planet, in the moment, we can say of this hologram of the earth, or this macrocosmos, Mother Earth, if you do what you have come to do it with serenity, with peace, with love, then the whole planet can find peace and love. And again, you don't have to change the world, because you can't. You can only change yourself.
It's true.
This is so easy, but it's the most difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
This came up. Maybe all our life is a journey to find true self-love.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
That's true. And once you come to the point that you find that within yourself, in your divine connection, and you become that light for others, that you can radiate the peace, then you automatically become a leader in a way. You know, you don't have to struggle, because you just are there, because you radiate that peace. You can answer questions, or maybe you don't even need to talk. Just to be there is enough.
Yes. Okay.
Not exactly what I expected again, huh?
But
We talked about like here, being selfish versus love yourself. You know, self, just put the capital S on self and look at it as the divine. If you don't have the connection to self, and if you're dependent on others, and rely on what others think of you, you will never ever achieve anything really in your lifetime. You're not getting further.
Okay.
Because always remember, the moment when you move out of this body, you can only look at your own life, what you have achieved. What all the others think or do, whatever, that does not matter at all. And if you have achieved peace with yourself, that's a very, very high achievement, because how much money you have, how much fame you have, and all that stuff doesn't matter. What do we need to live? We need food. We need a roof over our head, and love. And this is why life, in fact, is very simple. So how can we get the food and the clothes and the shelter that we need? That is generally, and maybe even a way of transportation or whatever it is, but this is usually achievable. And then when you let all the others out there have their own expectation, but it has nothing to do with me, then life can become much easier, much simpler.
Yeah.
And one thing is also that I have experienced, and I really talk from experience, not from any theory. The moment that you surrender to your higher self, love yourself, self-love, and you learn that you are valued exactly the way you are, then the guidance kicks in, and whatever you need will be provided. Maybe not in the way you expected, or most likely not. And maybe opportunities come up that you would have never expected. But these are the opportunities that will bring you to yourself, but not maybe to fame and whatever maybe other people expect you to go. You have to have the courage, and that is the love of self, to say no to things that stress you, that are tiring, that make you unhappy. That is self-love, is to learn to set your boundaries in that way that you can live that part of yourself that you came for.
I just come up one question. Some people does not know their feeling, so they don't know that is that unhappy or not at that acting that moment. So maybe they don't know that is that self-love or not, because they don't know what they do is unhappy. But because they don't know their feeling, they don't feel. So
see, the thing is, again, that is so much brainwash that you are happy if you're successful, you know, all this modern stuff. And then people that they think they are happy, but that's not their true feeling. And this is usually what manifests in the body. And then you can see when people get sick, you know, that they might be not that happy as they thought they were, but they are satisfied in a way from the mind program that they have done this or that. But even though I see a lot of people like that, if they're successful, or like they're beautiful. But you know what? I have never seen more people with so many self-criticism as, for example, beautiful people. Like a lady I have in mind, she's a very beautiful, beautiful lady, but she's never, oh, this is not good enough, that is not good enough. Oh, my hair is so good, and you know, all kind of stuff like that. This is insane.
And then they do surgery.
Yeah, exactly. And
so,
then at one point, their face is so stiff and stubborn, they cannot even smile anymore, you know?
And I just come up one example. If someone want to, they have like a go with their friend, and then want to order something to eat, and they just allow their friend to order something when they discuss about the choice to order, and then this person feel happy when their friend order
the same,
the things that make them happy. So they feel that I'm happy too. So
yeah, well, but this is just a satisfaction that lasts for a very, very short time.
So it's not self-love?
Yeah, well, you know, it can be whatever. If you order the food, or you have an ice cream or whatever, a chocolate that make you very happy because it gives you a chemical reaction of the sugar in the body that gives you those hormones that say make you happy, you know, kind of. But like we say for chocolate, it make you happy for 20 minutes, and it make you crave for 2 weeks. This kind of happiness, it's okay, it's legal that you have all that good food and whatever, but this is not the true happiness of your soul. You're addicted, for example, to chocolate or to cigarettes or to alcohol or whatever it is, because you need that for certain chemical reactions in your body to give you the satisfaction that you do not have without.
Okay. But if we give our power to someone to order something for them that make them satisfaction, and I feel satisfied too, it will be self-love or not?
It depends. It depends. It can be just that the person is okay and quiet and happy, so I don't have to bother. It has many reasons that you can do things like that. But generally, it's usually not very bad. But again, it can seduce people to believe in, okay, if I just have good food, I'm happy. But that's not that kind of happiness. But this again, we have the consciousness level, the different consciousness level, and people will act and react from there. So that is another whole big discussion again. How about, if somebody has a lower consciousness level, you can usually give them some food or some nice clothes or whatever to make them happy much easier than somebody in a higher consciousness, because people are still very much addicted to physical things in their life, and if they have a new dress, they're happy, or a nice food, they're happy. But if people are from a higher consciousness level, okay, I might be happy too if I receive a very beautiful clothes or something. But that does not have a big value in my life. You know what I mean?
I
You
find
cannot blackmail me with that, for example, but you can blackmail me. I give you this dress that you want, and you do for me this and this,
and I find many people they think that the act of making other people happy with what they want is true happiness or true
Show love.
true love.
That's not. It is kindness. It is would be also could be friendship, whatever. You want other people to be okay, and if you share and if you have ways to make them happy, that is fine. But that has nothing to do really with the higher aspect of love. But I also have a difficult time to see people suffering, so I always try to help too. But on the other hand, I cannot take away their suffering. I can maybe help them to don't have pain for the moment or whatever. But whatever is coming in your life, the ultimate understanding is that I have created whatever is in my life because this is my process of evolution. And the more you try to give people just satisfaction that is superficial, you hold them back from their spiritual evolution. So very often helping people, even if it looks good from the eyes of our current understanding, but it is not good for the spiritual evolution of that person. It's the same as you say, oh, don't cry, everything will be okay. It's not. Crying is very important because it is a release, it is a relief of energy that is given to us. So please don't ask people to stop, because once when they finish crying, they stop automatically. But if you interrupt the process, they're not getting there to have the release that they need. And very often it is very superficial that you want people be happy with things. And this is not the happiness that comes from within because they are happy, because they are only happy because things make them happy. And all that what you have, all these things and everything that is connected with it can be taken away. just look at it, what can be taken away. The true happiness within yourself through the connection to your higher self cannot be taken away from you.
Mm.
Everything material can be taken away. So that is true love.
I see. Oh.
Yes, I think that's all.
We got it all.
Okay, I'm just looking up here quickly if there is anything what you have. Yeah, it is like, you know, the responsibility that you have, the first response ability is to respond to life for your personal spiritual journey forward into a higher consciousness.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we have to find a title for that one because it came out very different than it started, right?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you everybody for listening. And if you have questions, please let us know. If you like our video, please give us a thumbs up. And until soon again, see you soon again.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
see you.